It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to TV Thursday. That is what Thursdays have become. We have so many TV shows to talk about today, but that's not all. We have a lot other stuff to talk about. As the show is starting, I definitely want to send my love, my prayers to those in the eye of Milton. When I tell you, I woke up at 2 in the morning and I was like, how are Josh and Billy and Ray? And I swear at 2 in the morning, I was thinking about Billy. I'm really concerned. I see Josh is in the comments and I've been texting with Ray this morning. I do not know if Billy is okay. I'm hoping she's okay. She's normally here and it's making me nervous. I was hoping I'd see her in the live feed. I woke up and immediately went online and started searching everyone that I've been following on TikTok. Like, there's all these people that are giving us the boots on the ground on TikTok. There's this one woman, Morgan, who is at a high rise. I think it's in Tampa. I don't know exactly where everyone is specifically. And yeah, I'm nervous too, Josh. Maybe we can DM her. Can someone DM Billy? Do you know her DM? Um, on Instagram? Okay, so, and then also I was, like, checking on Lieutenant Dan, and I saw he was okay, and I was checking on the horses. Like, I feel so connected to these people that have been posting from, their homes in TikTok, and for the most part, everyone that I've been following seems okay, but I am feeling very, very anxious right now. So, yeah, Donna says there's over 3 million people without power, which is true. But the storm is bad. And when I went to bed last night and I saw the roof of the MLB stadium, the Major League Baseball stadium, ripped off and that people were sheltering there, I was like, holy shit. So I got real nervous, you guys. I got real nervous. Meanwhile, another thing that I'm feeling a little bit like, on edge about, just kind of curious. I want to know P. Diddy's, he's in court today, Sean Diddy Combs. And so I'm curious what happens there. There's a press conference that's set to happen in just a few minutes. So if his attorney does in fact come out and speak, or anyone does speak after the press conference, maybe I can go live and jump on over and we can watch it together. So let's just kind of keep posted and see. I am really truly hoping for everyone, and I know that this is like a professional podcast, but in reality you guys are community and family to me, especially those that are here every day and that I talk to in my DMs, that are part of my Patreon community, and that are in the Facebook world. And so Billy is an example of someone that I haven't heard back from, and I'm nervous. And she is a friend of mine now. So I'm hoping and crossing my fingers. Um, okay. Let's try to lighten the mood with a little Lisa Rinna. I'm not joking you when I tell you this. I got a DM just now and it just said, what is happening here? And I looked at it and I said, oh my gosh, I don't even follow Lisa Rinna. But I think we all need to see a little bit of Lisa Rinna right now. This is unlike anything you've ever seen in your life. This is actually what Lisa Rinna is doing currently. May we all have this kind of energy on a day like today. Okay, I guess I'm not doing enough with my life. This is your daily dose of Donna. Okay. Let's try to stay focused. My brain is like bing, bang, bang, ping, 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 pong, pong, boom. Like I am getting yelled at in my DMs. I am getting stressed out. I'm concerned about people. I feel like this is how I am. Okay. I'm a mama. I'm a mama and I care about these people. They're not I've never even met them in real life, but people out there, and especially what someone just said in the comments, pray for the elderly. And that is so true. The elderly, those who are in the hospitals or young children, the animals. I saw a video today of a little boat and went around and the rescuers found a 16-year-old on a floating on a what's it called? A piece of wood, like a piece of fence. You guys, it's not a joke. I swear I did not sleep last night. I was up all night long worried about this. Ugh, okay. Let's try to like get into the show. Maybe once I talk about all the TV that I watched last night, like a crazy person like this, watching 46 hours of TV, maybe I'll finally be able to get out of my funk and get into some comedy because I feel like we have to talk about it all. We have to talk about Love is Blind. It's so insane. It's actually wild and so bad that I may give up on the show entirely. Like, and I'm not just saying this season, I may say every season. Also, Salt Lake City, we have to talk about because I think that show gives more than any other Real Housewives show on the network. Like Salt Lake City is pure entertainment, front to back, top to bottom, beginning to end. And then finally Golden Bachelorette, which we got Charles's chest. And anytime Charles can do a little modeling for us, that's all. So Andrew says I can't keep up with all the TV and hurricane talk, and that's why I'm here. You don't have to watch it all. You just come here for a little bit, right? A little wham bam, thank you, ma'am. So, okay, let's get into the show. Before I get into it, there's a couple stories. One of them is about that Joel Kim Booster and Shannon Beador situation. So Luann de Lesseps was on Melissa's podcast, on display, Melissa Gorga's podcast. And she was asked about Love Hotel and about the Joel Kim Booster. And I could play you the whole clip, but really in reality, what happened was this. Joel Kim Booster apparently, according to Luann, apologized individually to all the cast, right? To Luann, to Shannon, and all the other women, Ashley, Giselle, and probably the producers, etc. Because as Luann says, it affects us all. It affects us all. And I think, in my opinion, he needs to do a public apology. He needs to let the world know that he's sorry because he let the world know that Shannon and her daughters are terrors. Luann said this was not something that we were seeing the entire time. Like everything was fine. They totally got along the entire time. So it does seem a little bit strange that this came out of nowhere, which made me remember I told you that I spoke to someone who worked on the show who said, yeah, like they all acted like housewives. They were all just housewives. So I agree with this person that I don't think Shannon Beador did anything that out of pocket. I think maybe she had one bad comment, one negative thing to say, etc. Maybe she did do something a little bit over the line, whatever, but I have a feeling she didn't go that wildly out of pocket to warrant that kind of comment. I don't know. I don't follow Joel. I have no idea if he's been posting regularly on his socials. Has he talked about anything? Does he have a podcast that he's been doing? I have no idea. Andrew says Joel will enter some kind of counseling before month's end and save this. And I agree because unfortunately, we still have to watch this show with his face on it, but I don't like him. I don't like him. I didn't like him before, and I really don't like him now because I think this shows a very bad character on his end. Especially because Luann, it was like everything seemed fine between them. Oh, Michelle says he's posting everything as normal. Well, I've heard from multiple people that he goes on these, and this is not definite, but like some sort of he goes on these, well, it's alleged like benders. So who knows? Who knows what it was? Other than that, I think the majority of the big news out there is just I think it's just all the shows that are on TV. I think it's just oh, this is exciting. This is a big one. Nobody Wants This has been officially picked up for season 2 on Netflix, which I am so excited about. Obviously, we knew that was going to happen. I think everyone knew that was going to happen. Usually, when Nobody Wants This or when a show, do you guys see my brain does not work normal today? Like, I promise you, I did not sleep well. But usually, because when a show does so well on Netflix, it didn't even just do well. The world was talking about it. I'm not surprised it got picked up for a second season. That being said, they did change the showrunners, and that always concerns me because to change the showrunners usually means a couple things. It usually means either they didn't like the creative direction of the show, meaning there were some issues creatively that didn't connect, or someone didn't get along well, or the showrunner who signed on for season 1 didn't want to continue, had other things in their on their plate, on their schedule, and they were committed to something else. I need to find out actually who was the showrunner for season 1. Let me see. Showrunner. Nobody Wants This. Season 1 showrunner. Okay, let's just read the article a little bit. It says that Sarah Foster, or is it Aaron Foster? Which Foster? All right. Nobody Wants This is not living up to its title because Netflix definitely wants more, renewing the hit romantic comedy starring Kristen Bell and Adam Brody for a second season. Girls alums Jenny Connor and Bruce Eric Kaplan. These are both the showrunners that came from the show Girls. If you guys remember Girls, Lena Dunham. Did you like that show? If we were watching Girls right now together in 2024 while Daily Joseph Donna was going on, would we be talking about this every day? Would we be saying like, "Oh my god, Girls last night was so good," or would we be like, "Oh, I can't tell if I would like it now or not." I loved Girls when it was first on, but now I feel like I wouldn't like it as much. I don't know. It said they're leading a writer's room, which has been open for a couple weeks. So they've already been writing. They are joined by Nora Silver, who's a president of Jenny Connor Productions, who will executive produce along with the duo, as well as returning executive producers, including Aaron Foster, Sarah Foster, Belle. Oh, that's who's Belle? Oh, Kristen Bell. Obviously, it's just Belle. Steve Levitan and Ollie Opes. Oh, this is a funny story about Steve Levitan. Stephen Levitan is behind Modern Family. I was out 2 weekends ago with Lance on a Saturday night. We went out for drinks and sushi, and we ended up sitting right next to Stephen Levitan's son. If only I would have known that he's on this show. We were chatting with him. Okay, so yeah, I don't know who the first showrunner. Oh, the Foster and Nobody Wants This executive producer Craig DiGregorio were announced as co-showrunners when the series was originally ordered by Netflix. And then Levitan jumped into the writer's room, and comedy veteran Jack Burdett, who was on Modern Family, came in too. So it sounds like they're just kind of finding their footing. The important thing is that it doesn't completely change. Sometimes season 2s of these shows tend to like jump the shark, right? So let's hope that it only gets better. Let's hope that they have some really good characters. Now, Holly says, I've aged out of Girls. And we're going to talk about this because watching Love is Blind last night and seeing, I can't even remember her name anymore because that's how much I don't care about this cast. Ramses girl. Ramses, and I was texting about her all night last night. What's her name? God, I'm a mess. Marissa and Ramses. Marissa and Ramses are on Girls. Like in my mind, they are the cast of Girls, and I can't handle it. Like Marissa said last night on Love. Okay, well, we'll get into Love is Blind in just a second. I just think I'm too old for it. I think I'm just like too buttoned up for it. You know what I mean? So, let's hope that nobody wants us as good. Let's move on. Before we move on, quickly, I want to let you guys know that this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. If you are feeling scared, nervous, anxious, like I was last night about the hurricane, and now I am about Billy, where is Billy? I am feeling like we all need someone to talk about, and that is why BetterHelp is around. If you are looking for someone to talk about your fears, your anxieties, sinkholes, anything like that, and finding ways to overcome them, consider therapy. The best thing about BetterHelp is if you're thinking of doing it, it's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you have to do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists for any time for no additional charge. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Donna, DANA, to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Donna. Someone is asking in the comments, does BetterHelp take insurance? And I do believe it does. I don't want to confirm or deny, but I don't think I would have done it had it not. And I've used it before. So I think it does. Go check it out. Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring Daily Dose of Donna. Let's get into the show. I think we're just going to go. Salt Lake City, Golden Bachelorette, Love is Blind. Let's go. Salt Lake City last night was a high. It's a positive show. It's fun. It makes me want to go to Milwaukee. Has anyone wanted to go to Milwaukee more than watching Salt Lake City? Like, they make Milwaukee, and I've been to Milwaukee, by the way. In fact, I went to a phenomenal, gorgeous wedding in Milwaukee, in one of those probably beautiful streets that you see them driving through. Like, it felt very like financial district, gorgeous hotels. I remember the food was great. There was lots of cheese. It's Wisconsin. I love me a Wisconsin cheese. With what is it called? Mars Cheese Castle in Wisconsin. Love it. Anyway, so we're in Wisconsin. We start with this whole Laverne and Shirley beginning like sequence. The editors on Salt Lake City are phenomenal. They just know exactly how to do it. It's very entertaining to watch Salt Lake City. If you notice, like, some shows do a really good job and some just don't. I don't think Orange County editors ever are snarky or funny. Do you guys notice that? Orange County editors never add comedy to their editing. New York City doesn't really add comedy to their editing. Potomac and Salt Lake City add a lot of comedy to their editing. Isn't that interesting? Like, they're all different teams, by the way. And actually, now that I think about it, Orange County, isn't Orange County and Beverly Hills produced by the same people, right? Because they're Evolution. So it's different producers, whatever. Yeah, that's kind of how it works. I like the campy editing. I think it's funny. I think it's entertaining. It's like it reminds us not to take this show that seriously. And this is a show that we should not take too seriously because they're fighting over Donny Osmond's second cousin's brother's grandson. Like, it's the best thing I've ever seen. So they're in Milwaukee, and the beginning of the episode is them, in the hotel, kind of talking about the night before. Actually, I don't even know where they are. It's a hotel, but it's not. It's the coolest suite ever. It looks like it's almost like they took over the entire top floor of a hotel, but it's all open. You can just go from room to room, and the hallways are your hallways. It's a really cool situation. Like, wherever they're staying, I feel like I wanna go and check it out. It looks really nice. So they're having this conversation the next morning about everything that went on the night before. Well, everyone's kinda doing the recap from the night before. You know how it always goes. So we have Bronwyn talking to her husband, Todd, about the fact that she felt like it was a really, crazy night and she didn't even get to see anything in the game. And then we have Whitney going and talking to Mary. Who knew Whitney and Mary were gonna be besties? Mary's like, I love you, Whitney. I am obsessed with Mary. Like, bring more Mary. We need Mary on every show. Mary should host all the shows. She should be on the Traders. Like, I want Mary to be everywhere. Then we see Lisa Barlow getting her glam done. Meredith comes in there, and that's when Lisa tells Meredith that, oh no, I'm sorry. Meredith tells Lisa that Whitney was it Whitney and Angie were kind of trying to throw Lisa under the bus the night before. And Lisa immediately was like, whoa, you're trying to separate us as friends? Like, that is not okay. We've worked really hard to get here. And honestly, at the end of the day, Meredith just really hates Whitney. Don't you guys just feel that? Like, Meredith will do anything to screw Whitney over. Meredith hates Whitney. She hates her designs. She hates Alibaba. Like, she hates the bath bomb joke. She just doesn't like Whitney. And she's like, anytime I can just put Whitney and like put her in her place, I'm done with her. So she sets that whole conversation up with Lisa to kind of get Lisa upset with Whitney. And then sure enough, Whitney comes in to say, so are we going to go? Are you coming with us? Are you ready? And Lisa's like, no, I have other plans. Now, I want to talk to you guys about this because this is my production brain that comes in. When you are doing a show like a Real Housewives, and you decide that half of your cast is going to go to the Milwaukee Caves, the Miller Lite Caves, where I want to go. Like, I want to go to the Miller Lite Caves. And then half of your cast is going to go to a curling, what is it called? Curling stadium, curling field, curling court. My question for you is, in what world are we supposed to believe? Well, maybe a lot of people do, that was a last minute audible by Lisa Barlow, that she says, I don't want to go with Whitney. I've decided not to go. And now I want to go with, with whoever else I can find to go curling. I don't believe that that's a possibility because in order to get a permit to shoot at that curling rink, thank you, Asif, to shoot at that curling rink, it's hard to say, you have to go in advance. You have to make sure that you have permits. You have to make sure that you've mic'd everyone up and you've gotten people. You've got to rent it out. You got to this, you got to that. It's not a last minute thing. So my question is, did they really already tell Lisa, like, you're doing something else? That whole thing was a little bit confusing to me, but that's where my brain comes in. It didn't feel like a last minute thing. Now, Whitney goes over to Heather. All of a sudden, Heather and Whitney are besties again. Confusing AF. They're Laverne and Shirley, matching shirts. Heather annoys me on the show, and I'll tell you why. I like the part about Heather that she's so friendly and happy and fun and light and wants to party and this and this and that. What I don't like is the fact that she is just so fun and wants to party and like is unaffected and doesn't really care and like la la la. It it doesn't seem like she's actually taking any of it seriously. It's like she's just there for the paycheck. She doesn't really take it seriously. If anyone fights, she laughs it off. She's not really that invested. Does anyone else get that feeling a little bit about Heather, especially this season? She just kind of laughs it off about everything. So the six of them, minus Lisa and the two others that I don't really care about, really, Maylee and Brittany, who go curling by, like so random. And Bronwyn nailed it. She's like, were those the first two people she saw? I mean, it was random. And the better crew went over to the Miller Caves. Now, I want to go to the Miller Caves. I don't know about you guys, but that place looked cool AF. I also want to sample beer and eat cheese. That sounds like a real fun day for me. But, everyone has their thing. They're telling ghost stories, everyone's having fun. And then, that's when Heather decides this would be the moment I'm going to tell Whitney. Meredith is going around and telling people and the world on camera, by the way, that your designs are from Alibaba. Why didn't she say Alibaba? Alibaba. Oh, okay. Let's just see. I wonder if something's going to happen in this press conference soon. Someone just came on in front. Don't worry. I'll be putting it on in a bit if they come out and start talking about Diddy. So, so she decides to tell Whitney something right then and there. And, she's hoping that Whitney doesn't say anything. And, the last time that we've told Whitney not to say anything or anyone not to say anything on a Housewives show, it's got to be an absolute joke, right? Like, of course they're going to say something. So Mary's the best in the scene with drinking her beer. She's never had beer once before in her life. Can anyone believe that? Then she takes a sip of her champagne of beers, and she's like, with her pinky up, this is regal. Mm, mm. I mean, Miller is like, we got Mary Cosby to call our beer regal. I'm going to start drinking Miller High Life for Mary. I loved it. In this scene, when they're curling, the curling scene, we're again dealing with Brittany, who cosplays as a 50 or 40-some-year-old woman, but in reality is 12, because she's dealing with, like, she's texting her on again, off again crush, Jared. Do you like me or do you not? Circle yes or no. I mean, she's not really, but it's so ridiculous. Like, she actually is so embarrassing with her reactions to this man, Jared. Obviously, he's so playing her. Obviously, he thinks he's like hot shit. He is such a loser. And she, honestly, no offense, I'm a woman supporting woman, but like, she's a loser too, because she's allowing this in her life. She's a mother. Like, this is embarrassing. I'm not into Brittany. I'm not into Maylee. I'm with you, Suki. The newbies are lame. Not feeling it. No, no. So, um, okay. Then we go to tell the ghost stories, but we go into some like dive bar where these two bartenders that are so Wisconsin, like, they're just like casual. They don't give a shit that Real Housewives is there. They're in their sweatshirts, hair up, like whatever. And they start talking about, like, so tell us about Milwaukee. And Mary tells the Jeffrey Dahmer story again. Mary is just the queen of not understanding like where and when. She's not like the person that you ever want to go to when you want someone to read the room. I think it's phenomenal. Susan says Lisa with her glam squad is way over the top obnoxious. I think they all have glam squad. I really do. I think every single last one of them have glam squad. And we just didn't see all of it. Am I wrong? Heather didn't. Heather, I saw doing her own makeup. Maybe Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're all doing their own makeup. Yeah, why does Lisa need to always fly her people everywhere she goes? She doesn't even look that different. But then again, maybe we just never have seen her without glam on the show. Never. So they get back in in the Sprinter van, and they decide to come back to get ready for dinner, and everyone they get back into the Sprinter van to go to dinner. What am I missing? Am I missing anything? Oh, it's a bunch of glam squad moments again. I don't even know. This part doesn't matter. And then they get back to go to dinner, and that's when they start bringing up Alibaba, right? That's when Whitney brings it up to Meredith. They start talking about it, and then Whitney is like, I just don't understand why you're doing that. Da, da, da. Oh, guys, by the way, let's put a pin on it because we're about to be at the Harley Davidson Museum, and they're honoring me. And like, it's all about me. So I'm really pissed off about Alibaba, but let's just not talk about it right now. Okay. Thanks. Cool. They go on to dinner in this really cool museum. I mean, I thought that was cool. I would love to go to the Harley Davidson Museum. I feel like that would be a very fun, cool thing to do and see. They had what looked like a beautiful dinner. And of course, that's when they get in a huge fight. They're all getting mad over the same shit. You're talking shit about me, but you're saying this about me. But why are you telling this person this about me? And you're saying this about me. And in my opinion, it's exactly what we like about the housewives. Lisa said one thing that really sent Angie over the edge. She said, Angie, why don't you just go to Electra like you always do? You always tell me that you just have to get off the phone and go to Electra. Basically, Electra's her daughter, and Lisa's trying to say, Angie, you're always trying to find other reasons to get off the phone with me and just go, and you always use your daughter. I didn't think that was that big of a dig. Everyone was like, you do not talk about your daughter that way. I was like, I don't think Lisa went after her daughter. But Angie's like, I didn't have a mother. Do not go after my parenting. I think Lisa's saying that she feels like she's using the excuse of Electra when Electra's not really on the phone. Right? Did anyone feel like that was a little bit over reacted, like this idea of, "Oh, don't talk about the daughter." Anyway, there was a whole issue between I love Bronwyn. Bring on more Bronwyn always. Bronwyn and, the new girl, Brittany, about their marriages because Bronwyn was giving Brittany a hard time saying, "Are you really into him or are you really just into him because he's an Osmond?" And she goes, "Well, are you really into your husband because of his money?" Now they talked about prenups and the fact that they don't have a prenup, Bronwyn and her husband, which I'm really surprised by because it sounds to me like he really was a very wealthy man. Meredith had it right though. She's like, "It's none of our business," you know? So they continued to talk about their marriages. Bronwyn's funny. She's like, "Does anyone else have a question about my husband's dick?" I liked it. Finally, we leave. Everyone again, it's like, okay, so this dinner didn't go great, but let's move on because I have another planned agenda. We're going to Trixie's drag show. So they go back to the room, change. Everyone gets into their funky, like, drag show outfits. And Bronwyn comes out dressed as a hot dog. It's a couture hot dog. It's a hot dog. And when I tell you, I have never thought in my life, this is the moment where you realize money can't buy you class. Why? What? A hot dog? Even Mary, who was like, no, it used to be like her other outfit, the heart coat was was beautiful couture. Now this is a costume. It's literally a hot dog with like a mustard top. I mean, it's wild to see it. It's wild. I love it too. I think she's amazing. I think she's an amazing housewife. But can you imagine going to a bar and seeing her and it's not October 31st? Like, I find that hilarious. Okay. It's a great show. I'm really into it. I am loving Salt Lake City this season. I'm loving the clothes, the vibes, the comedy, the editing. Bring it on. Now, someone earlier said, I feel like we have way too much TV right now. And I did see something yesterday saying, like, why did we go from a drought on Bravo to feeling overwhelmed? And I do think there should be a max 3 housewives on at any time. 4 is way too much. Sunday night Potomac, right? Sunday night Potomac, Tuesday night New York, Wednesday night Salt Lake City, Thursday night OC. It is too much. It's too much and it like lessens the interest on each of them in my opinion. I really love OC. I hope to like Potomac this season. We've only seen 1 episode and I really love Salt Lake City. Roni is on the bottom of my list right now. Roni and Potomac right now are at the bottom of my list. All right. I'm keeping an eye out on the Diddy press conference. Don't worry. So don't leave here if you're interested in seeing what they say about that because the cameraman is having a lot of fun. He's zooming in and out. He's seeing everything. I mean, we're seeing the light bulb, we're seeing the handle and the door, whatever. Okay. No one watches Dubai but you, Suki. Yes, that's true. I will not support Dubai. I also have no interest in watching Dubai. Like that felt too over the top for me. The second I saw Chanel in her confessional outfit, it was way too much. And then yes, Michelle, overwhelmed plus below deck. Below deck sailing started on Tuesday. I watched that. And was it Tuesday or Monday? And either Southern Charm or Southern Hospitality is coming back. Southern Charm I'm very excited about. Like that I'm really excited about. And how the hell are we supposed to do that plus like other shows? Are we just Bravo all the time? You better not stop watching Daily Dose of Donna, okay? If you lose me, it's over. Let's move on to our next show that we can talk about. Which one can we talk about? Let's go into Golden Bachelorette. I won't give you guys too much because it's like there's not really that much to recap when it comes to Golden Bachelorette. It's just one of those shows that is just so enjoyable to me. It makes me happy. It brings a smile to my face. It makes me cry. I did both when I watched it this morning. I laugh, I cry, I feel warm inside, I feel fuzzy inside. I feel like there is hope for the future. it gives me it gives me the warm and fuzzies. And at this point in our lives, we need it, right? We need warm and fuzzies. So at this point, we have 11 guys left on Golden Bachelorette, and they say we're on week 4. I don't know actually if we're not or if we are, but it's week 4 on this series, and the guys are getting a little frustrated. At the beginning of the episode, we see Charles doing, they're doing workouts. Guy is doing some weightlifting behind his head, and Charles is teaching everyone Tai Chi. And when I tell you I saw Charles being at the front of this group of men doing Tai Chi, I was like, I'm upset. Like, Charles needs to be the next Golden Bachelor. Not really, because I haven't seen that side of Charles. Like, I haven't seen the flirty, lovey-dovey side of Charles, but I've seen the love side of Charles, like the friend. I just love him. So Charles, we see the guys just hanging out, and then all of a sudden they get their cards. They get to decide who gets on the first date. So the first date is a group date, and they have to go down to Hollywood Boulevard with the OG Chippendales. These are men that are in like their 50s and up, and they're half naked and they're dancing around, and it's the best thing you've ever seen. And they teach the guys how to basically strip for Joan and also Caitlin Bristow, who's there. Caitlin Bristow comes in as the co-host, judge. I actually like Caitlin Bristow, as annoying as she sometimes can be. I find her to be fun to watch. I think she's very pretty. And the guys, some of them, like, do you think Charles had any idea who Caitlin Bristow was when she came out? Like, some of the guys were like, "I love her." And then Charles was like, "I love him." So the guys all had to get dressed up in what their kind of character was gonna be. We had Gary as the nutty professor because he's a little bit like a heavier guy, and I just like it worked so well. He was like shaking his big butt. We had Jonathan being like so sexy as a construction worker, like ripping off his shirt and like wearing these gold Speedos. It was hot. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. We had like some firefighters. We had this and that. And then we had Charles. And Charles was a Hawaiian tourist. I don't know. He was wearing like a Hawaiian Tommy Bahama shirt and a lei and a hat. And he came and he opened up his shirt and he also danced. I mean, that was enough for me. So it was so cute. All of the guys had so much fun with it. And then she got to sit alone, one-on-one with all the guys. Now she sits alone with Chalk. Yes, Chalk. Not Chalk, Chalk. It's Chock. But who am I to judge someone's name? Okay? I'm Donna Speldana. So Chalk spelled Chalk. I love you anyway. Now, Chalk to me, he's who I would choose. He's a very handsome man and he seems great. So they're having this amazing conversation, and I am feeling the sexual chemistry. They are into each other. They want each other and they like each other. In my opinion, he's going all the way. That's what I think after seeing last night's episode. So they're sitting there and they're having this like beautiful, incredible back and forth about just like life, and he's like, I just wish I could whisk you away. And she said, he's the first person that's made me like actually be able to see a future. She sits with all of them individually here and there, but she gives her first impression, not first impression, but the rose of the night, she gives it to Chalk. But then the next morning, Chalk wakes up. And this is where I was crying. Chalk got a call, and the producers woke him up to say that Chalk's mom died. And just like what happened on Joan's season, Chalk had to pull Joan aside and say, I have to go home. And he went home to go be with his mom, and we weren't sure if he was going to come back. But I'll tell you something. Joan was not herself after he left, because Joan's in love with him in my mind. I'm convinced Joan loves Chalk. But she had to go on a one-on-one date. So she ended up going with Rick Leventhal. I think his name is Jordan, but he really looks like Rick Leventhal. It's all I see. And they went to some sort of ice rink. Real random. And then you know what? REO Speedwagon came out of nowhere. And I can't fight this feeling anymore. It's cute. Not really finding the chemistry there, but she liked him. The next one-on-one date she had was with Guy. Now, this was a one-on-one date that really pissed me off. You wonder why? because Guy was in the news yesterday. Want to know how or why? Because Guy ain't a good guy. Now we have two guys on Golden Bachelorette who are bad picks, bad seeds. Guy, Golden Bachelorette. It was written about yesterday. He is the center of jaw-dropping allegations from his ex-girlfriend. His name is Guy Gansert. I mean, they picked a picture on the Daily Mail article that I pulled up of him looking so scary and like literally he looks like a murderer in this picture. It says Golden Bachelorette contestant Guy Gansert was accused of domestic violence in October of 2021 by an ex-girlfriend in a restraining order request against him. Gansert, 66, one of the contestants vying for the affection of Joan Vassos, is an emergency room doctor based out of Reno, Nevada. His ex-girlfriend said October 12th, 2021, in a protection order against domestic violence reviewed by the U.S. Sun, that he had physically tried to threaten her in the wake of their split. His ex-girlfriend told the court that the incident occurred as she was leaving a gym with a female friend and boarding her vehicle. He said that Gansert had placed something under the rear driver's tire and picked it back up before verbally laying into her. Okay. Then it said the ex-girlfriend said that after disparaging me for some time and my now boyfriend, he pointed his finger like a gun and then shot at me like finger guns. And then he motioned like he was going to shoot me with his hand shaped like a pistol. Okay. Why in the world does this man get on? Why? Why? How does he get on the show? There's really no good guys left? He had a restraining order. That should be on his public record. It was in 2021. I don't understand. This is shocking. Shocking. Wait, you guys, I need to see what you guys are saying in the comments about. You're talking about Dancing with the Stars? Gene Simmons, Dancing with the Stars? Because you're okay. Sorry. Okay, let me get back into this. So I don't know why in the world this keeps happening, but this is out of control. Like, get your ish together, casting. Now we've had guys lie on Love is Blind multiple times. We'll get into that in a second. And then on Bachelorette, this happens every season. How many times do we have to find out that someone had a restraining order? There's two of them on this season, and one of them is still in the house. So Guy ends up getting a rose. And I thought for sure this is going to be the episode that they're going to send Guy home. No, they keep Guy. So now it's the fine. She had that one-on-one with Guy. I am not getting it. I don't find him attractive in any way or even sweet, but maybe that's because I know he has a restraining order. Then they go to the final night where the final rose ceremony. But guess who comes out of the woodworks? Chuck. Chuck is back. Of course he's back because his mom would want him to be there. And you could just see they were making out. There was tongue in that moment. Chuck and Joan sitting in a tree. She ends up having her final rose ceremony. She's releases 4 men. And you guys, I hate to say it, Charles has been released from the Golden Bachelorette. It makes me wonder if there's a point to watch the show anymore, but I do believe there is a point. So I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't have any knowledge on who wins this show. Lance worked on it, but early on. He is not far enough that he even knew. And there's way too many NDAs and spoilers and stuff. But I'm going to guess that she ends up with Chalk just from the vibes I'm getting. If I could guess, she's going to end up with like her final 4 will be Chalk. I think she really likes Mark. Mark is the guy that has like we've learned a lot about and we've seen him call his daughter and stuff. So I think she's going to have Mark and Chalk. I think Pascal. I do. And I hope it's not Guy. The good thing is Gil is gone. Gil is one of the restraining orders. He's out. I'm really sad about Gary being gone. He was the guy that was the Nutty Professor guy, and he also said, "She's the first person that's made me feel seen," and cried last week. And when Charles was saying bye and he's like, "This exceeded my expectations. This was so wonderful." The guys came out and like surprised him, and he was like, "Mark, oh," and they were all hugging. I was hysterical. Like, I was not okay. These men are all so emotionally bonded and connected. Like, they have found lifelong friends in each other. This is the one thing about men on these shows, and I will say it happens way more with men than women. I do believe that men connect more in these ways without the competition getting involved more than the women. We did see it a little bit this season on Golden Bachelor too. So maybe it is just age, because look at Susan and Kathy. Zip it. Susan and Kathy are still besties. Leslie is in with them. Like, they're all still friends. So interesting. You guys have some issues with Gene Simmons last night on Dancing with the Stars. I don't think it was last night. It was 2 nights ago. Yeah, I didn't watch it. Apparently, he was giving some really low scores to people like Phaedra. He gave a 5, I think, to Phaedra, which is not okay. And Phaedra allegedly, I guess, did a post-show interview and called out Gene for voting higher for the younger, thin, white ladies. Ouch. I wouldn't be surprised. Wow. It says, Michelle says it was so obvious he was high scoring the really hot young dancers. Gross. I need to find out. I'm going to ask Lance. Hold on. Thoughts on Gene Simmons as a judge? Okay. Let's go on. The show is wonderful. It doesn't disappoint. Joan is wonderful. Everyone's wonderful. I can't wait until they start doing hometowns. I want to see them all go home. But the only thing that concerns me, and someone commented on my Instagram and said this, is that the worry is, what if we don't have these, like the final two that end up together live in opposite states, or they don't live near each other? It's very hard for people at this stage in their life to pick up and move. And so I really hope that Chalk and Joan, because in my mind, Chalk and Joan are living together and are madly in love, live together in the same area and like are in like in cahoots. Cause I would feel really bad if that Teresa and Gary thing, although I don't believe that that's oh my God. I don't even want to tell you what Lance is saying. Did everyone think so? I'm not going to tell you what Lance is saying, but I'm just going to say, I'm going to sing you a song, okay? So I creep, yeah, you know, but I know. Or, but I'm a creep. And then he added a couple different adjectives around it as well. I'm not saying he said that. Okay. Gloria Allred's coming out. Hold on. Should we watch this? Let's take a break and watch over too. Let's see if anything happens. Gloria Allred just walked out. Ah, I wanted to see. I thought maybe she would speak. Nothing? Maybe I should keep going and then here, I'll show you. She just came out. Oh, whatever. Okay. I will keep speaking and then we'll see what happens. Can I make that smaller? That's the smallest I can make it. Okay. Stop it. I don't even want to know that. I don't want to know that, Michelle. Okay, let's keep it going. Anyway, speaking of not a creep, Golden Bachelorettes, for the most part, are great. Absolutely great, wonderful, amazing, love them. Let's keep it going and talk about, um sorry, let's talk about Love is Blind. When I tell you I wanna show you what Lance just told me. I said, "Did everyone think so?" And he said, "OMG, yes, we were all standing behind the scenes talking about how effing cringe it was." Michelle, immediately never say that. I don't claim him. I never claimed him. That's one I don't claim. Um, I'll Beth, I'm gonna tell them that you should join the chat. They want you to join the chat. Okay, let's move on. The podcast listeners, not the YouTubers, the podcast listeners are really gonna have a field day with today's episode because it's wildly out of control. It's unorganized. There's pauses. I'm texting. I'm watching things on other channels. Like, I'm a mess. So I'm so sorry. I apologize ahead of time, but let's not go. Okay. Anyway, so let's talk about Love is Blind. Love is Blind episodes 7 through 9 aired yesterday. And I did the dirty work and watched all of them. And I will say one thing. Love, in fact, is not blind. Oh, what's happening? Hold on. Something's happening. Hold on.
A bail because you have a right to be convicted before you can be subjected to the penalties of a crime. You can't have the punishment before the conviction. Due process mandates bail or release pending conviction.
What? Microphone. Who is this guy? Do you guys know who he is?
Listen, my name is Ari and I'm a paralegal. The United States Constitution mandates no one to be subjected to the penalties of a crime without a conviction. Therefore, it's mandatory that Mr. Coons be released pending a conviction. Also, they try to say that they have tampered with witnesses, etc. There's no evidence that he did this subsequent to being charged. They try to say that he presents a flight risk and everything like that. There's no evidence that he ever sought to evade prosecution. It's called pre-invention. You can't do that. You can't say punish a person for something they might do. They can only punish a person for something they have done. So, law mandates that he be released pending his trial, and that any deprivation constitutes a fundamental deprivation or violation of due process.
What? Who was that? He could have just been some random dude walking out of the court case. They're all laughing at him.
Who's next? Who's gonna walk up to the mics next? You get a good audio check? Winner.
That
Good mic check.
Okay, you guys, that was the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. That was literally some random man that was because people are coming in and out of this building. This is like an actual court. So people have been coming in and out. This guy was just some random guy. Oh my gosh, that was the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I wish I was there. Like, that random guy should come out and talk. I would love that if I was some random guy that just came out there and was like, hey, I just want to let you guys all know that I'm Team Melissa. Like, can you imagine? That was the craziest thing. 21,000 people are just watching this one live stream on Associated Press, and that guy just came out and started talking. And everyone took it seriously. Oh, that was the best thing I've ever seen. Okay. That was the best thing. Okay, let's go back. Everyone's laughing about it. Hey, I'm Donna from Daily Dose of Donna. Like and subscribe. Yeah, exactly. Like, do you like conspiracy theories and foil hats? How about an Ira store? How about marijuana? Come on over. Daily Dose of Donna. Ah, that was so good. What if Charles from Golden Bachelorette just popped out and he was like, hello, everyone? I would be so happy. I really should be there. Why aren't I there? Where is it? It's in New York. Damn. I mean, I guess if anyone can just walk in and out, you probably need some sort of credential. Okay, let's get into Love is Blind. So episode 7 to 9 came on yesterday, and I'll tell you one thing, that these couples are horrendously cast. I said it episodes 1 through 6. I felt it the entire time. I do not like these couples. I don't like any of them. Even the ones that are happily together are boring AF. But I'm going to tell you in an order of like who I think is the most solid, will be together probably for, or like walk down the aisle, to the ones that absolutely will not. We've got Taylor and Garrett. Taylor and Garrett are, who's that? Oh, every time the camera pans to just follow someone, I'm like, who could that be? It's just some random man like going to the bathroom. Taylor and Garrett are a match made in heaven. They're adorable. Okay. They're both science people. They both have science tattoos. They get each other's weird, dry humor. They have fun with each other. Taylor could not have been better for Garrett's family. Garrett's family loved Taylor, and Taylor's friends loved Garrett. They seem great. Do I know when Taylor's mom meets Garrett in the next episodes? I don't know how it's going to go. I just think most likely they're going to be fine. I feel like they are on the top of the top, right? They're going to be fine. The next couple that possibly will be fine is literally none of them. Okay, wait, hold on. Going over there. That's his family. It's his mom, his kids, all his kids.
You love your son.
We love your son. For everyone listening, we're watching the all the press follow. It looked like literally 20 people in Diddy's family. It was his mom, his sons, his daughters. I don't know who the other people were. But there's a big sign of someone walking around saying Puff tried to kill someone. Biggie, maybe. I mean, some of those boys, some of those kids, I think were very in the know, the adult ones at least. Oh, someone's yelling, he's a monster. All right, we're going to mute it. Family just drove away. Okay, we're going to mute it and we're going to come back and we'll see if anyone comes back in. Okay, so then we have for Love is Blind, we have, after Taylor and Garrett, we have no other couples that are actually going to be fine. Like, and I say this and not even like being jokey. There's literally not one other couple there that will make it work. There's no way. The couple that I thought would make it work was the one that we found out he has 3, count it, 3 children that he didn't tell his girl about. Yes, that's what's his name? Tyler and Ashley. Tyler has 3 kids. And the craziest thing about it is that we don't really see them a lot in these episodes 7 through 9. Kind of don't see them at all. It's like kind of we do meet Ashley's dad, and there was like this really sweet scene. We don't really meet anyone on Tyler's side, but it seemed like a very sweet, nice conversation, and like everyone seemed kind of fine and nice and lovey, and they pray all the time. Everything. Oh, okay. Hold on. Back here.
Dr. King told us that Lord unintended consequences. Sometimes the more you push a person down, the stronger they get. And so he's making an adjustment. He had his family here today, this morning. We really want to put an end to all of the clowning that we see on the internet. It's a serious proceeding, with serious consequences, and all of us are addressing it accordingly.
Anthony, is it a racist proceeding, as Marcus said?
Nobody's okay with staying in jail for now. Okay,
Anthony,
thank you very much. That's it for today.
As Marcus said, do you continue to believe that?
Who is that? I think that's Diddy's attorney. I mean, that would make the most sense. Okay, so there's 200 microphones. Everyone is there. Who's going to speak? Gloria Allred already left. I'm so confused. Like, what are we waiting on now? Maybe like a district attorney or someone like that? Okay, that was really weird. He's like, we've got to stop with the mockery. He's wearing a hat with a feather in it. Did you guys see that? Literally a hat with a feather. Okay, so where were we? So Love is Blind. They have this is the man that has 3 kids. He has 3 freaking kids. And the craziest part about it is that he actually does open up and tells her before episode 9 ends, but it's not on camera. So we have no idea how it came out. And what he says to her is, I have 3. Oh, I don't know if he said 3 or 2. I'm a sperm donor for 3 kids. I was a sperm donor for a couple who couldn't have kids. He also lied about being alone on Christmas the year before. They had this conversation about what did you do for Christmas last year? And he was like, I was alone. He was with his kids. His baby mama was posting multiple pictures of him with his kids. You guys, what in the actual? Like, actually what? This is a psycho person. He scrubbed his entire feed before he went on the show of his kids, that he's very involved in their lives. He doesn't tell the girl that he meets in the pods. He proposes and doesn't tell her. He then goes on vacation with her and doesn't tell her. He then moves into a house with her in Washington, D.C. and starts planning a wedding and talks to her on camera about, are we naming our kid Timmy? Are we naming him Dewan or John? And can we have 4 kids? 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids? And doesn't tell her that he has 3 kids. Now that's devastating for me. Actually devastating for me, because the truth is, at the end of the day, these kids, that's their dad. Like, he wanted to erase them from his life for a TV show. It's not for Ashley. It's not because he fell in love. It's because he wanted to be on this show. Because he didn't tell anyone that he was a dad. His kids will see this one day. If I were the baby mama, I would never let him see his kids ever again. And if I were a judge, I would grant her that right to completely cut him out of their lives, because he wanted to erase them from his life. It's really upsetting. Very, very upsetting to watch, actually. Then, okay, so then that is a couple that at the end, we don't know where it's going to go. At this point, she still thinks that he's not in their lives. At this point, she's just upset because he didn't tell her that he donated sperm to babies for couples that couldn't have kids. That's what she's upset about. Just wait. When does she find out that he has a full family? I have no idea how Love is Blind allowed this. This is crazy town. Crazy town. Another couple that we have here is Alex and shows how much I care about these people. Tim? Is it Alex and Tim? They are the ones that are Netflix Love is Blind couples. Sorry. I truly don't care about these people. Like it's hard. It's a really hard one for me. They have, I think it's Tim. Tyler. Thank you, Michelle. I mean, just how do I bring your camera on and just come up and host today's show? Today's show is maybe the worst show I've ever done in my life. So Tyler and Alex are actually like they won me over a little bit in this episode. They're the ones that almost broke up when they were in Mexico. She seems like a little bit of a bee. She's bossy to him, but when they met her family, I fell in love with them because her dad has MS, and it was so sweet to see her with her dad and just to see like the relationship with her dad meeting and like I thought it was so cute. Tyler read a beautiful poem that he wrote, and the dad was emotional. And he's obviously like, he said that MS stole his ability to play golf. Like my heart just like sunk for him, and for that reason, I like gained a little bit of love for the two of them. However, in the last episode, oh, it's Alex and Tim. Thank you. See, everyone's getting it wrong. In the last episode, Tim comes over to Alex's apartment. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. If you're shooting an episode of Love is Blind or a season, if you get cast on Love is Blind and you know that there's a possibility that right after the pods, you get engaged and you go to Mexico and then you have to come home and you come straight into your apartment and your now fiance sees your apartment for the first time. And yes, it's a small chance, but it's possible that you do actually get that opportunity for your fiance to come and see your place. What in the world are you thinking not keeping it clean AF? Now, some people, mostly men, don't do that perfectly. We've seen that before. Remember, we saw like some random hair in the sink on episodes, et cetera, et cetera. But this was something I've never seen. She had piles of clothes and shit everywhere. Her closet, you couldn't walk. Like there was stuff everywhere. It was the wildest thing I've ever seen. And also, by the way, sorry, I have an itch on my back. Also, by the way, she was saying, I can't, I was packing. I'm sorry. I was packing. Do you guys want to know how I leave my house when I go on vacation? Even for a weekend. If I leave my house with a dish in the sink, I can't leave. I leave my house so clean as possible. Or if I can't, I will hire my housekeeper to come while I'm gone because there is absolutely nothing worse than coming home from a vacation to a messy house. This was something I had never seen. Red flag, major red flag. And Tim probably was feeling the same way. I felt Tim was feeling the same exact way. He was like, what is happening? So then, of course, we have, so I don't know how they're going to do. We don't know yet. Then, of course, we have, let's go with Nick and Hannah. Okay. Hannah's the one who had an issue and she was worried that it was all going to be about physicality. But then when she met Nick Dorka, his last name's Dorka, she ended up being a little bit weirded out about his physicality. She was giving him such a hard time when they were in Mexico. She wrote a list of all the things she didn't like about him. And then finally, you know, he has been like nothing but lovely and kind about her. She is so tough on him. The scene where they're sitting in their apartment and she's like, so who does your bills? How do you pay your bills? What do you do? When there's trash, how often are you taking out the trash? Do you vacuum? How often do you vacuum? How often are you doing the baseboards? When do you clean? Where are you putting? Do you not know stocks? How do you put money in stocks? How much money do you have? How much money do you want? When you're going to drive? I have never seen anything like this. Like I was getting stressed out. For him. But I just was wondering, like, maybe she watched How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and she was trying to lose him. I truly believe that's people like Hannah in that case, like she's really pushing him away. Some people I think are just so unhappy that they just want to start fights so that they can say it's not working out, which is why I think, and I'll mention it with Ramses later. But I feel like she's very challenging. I feel like she's super high maintenance, and I think she's fake AF because she's horrible to him. She's cold to him. She's mean to him. He does live in his parents' house at 26, which to me is not great. He does live with his parents, and he doesn't know how to cook, and he doesn't pay his own bills. It's a little concerning. He's also only 26, so he's still not like old, but like, yeah, it's a little young. And then, when he met her family was like, um, you have to give him a lighter, you have to be a little bit calmer and nicer. You have to not be so picky. They were all saying that to her. So I think this is like a thing she does. And meanwhile, when she met his mom, who I'm obsessed with, Nick Dorca's mom seems like a dreamboat mother-in-law. Nick Dorca's mom wanted to marry Hannah because Hannah knows how to turn it on for the parents. Did you notice that? She's so kind to the mom. She was so sweet, so loving with all the presents. She's so mean to Nick. Like there's no way that they end up together. If they end up together, like forget it. Meanwhile, did you guys see? I posted on my stories the other day. Hannah now is stick skinny. Stick skinny. So either she went on some crazy diet or Ozempic, but she has lost she has no fat on her body. She is so skinny. So it's kind of confusing to see her now. So I'm sure if we see a reunion, it's going to be like, whoa. It doesn't make any sense. It's very confusing. Lastly, we have to talk about Ramses and is it Maggie? Again, I can't remember her. I can't stand them more than anyone on the show. It's really, truly one of the most annoying couples I've ever seen on Love is Blind ever. And it makes me want to not watch the show ever again. I'll tell you why. I am Jewish. We've talked about this many times. We very rarely get Jewish representation on these shows. And we did get a Jew on this show, and it was Leo. Jewish Leo. Leo was the worst. He was the worst, okay? He was horrible, he was entitled, he was obnoxious, and he just talked about all the money he had. It felt very much like typecasting. Okay, accident? Maybe. But then we have Ramses, who's painted as this like amazing guy. I don't get it because he's got 2 tails coming out of his hair. Legit tails. But Ramses has the audacity to talk about Palestine on Love is Blind, which is shocking. Do we want to go to the press conference? They're about to talk about it. Oh, yeah, Stephen and Monica. That's coming up last. Hold on.
I'm not going to say anything that I didn't say in my papers and in court. We submitted a written motion last night that states our position. I'm not going to say anything in addition to it, but I didn't want to leave all you guys hanging, and I wanted to say at least that I wasn't going to say. So that's all I'm going to say and not say. Thank you all. I hope that gives you what you need, but I'm not going to say anything that I haven't said in court and that I haven't said in my court papers. So you all have a nice day, and thank you very much.
How is he doing? How is he doing?
Monster. I saw your bullshit motion. It's full of social media. It's bullshit. Fugazi. I saw your whole motion. You put it together with ChatGPT. Your client is a monster and a predator. Keep our foot on his neck.
That was Diddy's attorney. All those people have been waiting outside of the court for this long for that. For his idiot attorney. I'm sorry, I don't like his idiot attorney to talk about the Costco and the lotion stuff. To come out and say that. He's like, I just didn't want to leave you guys hanging, so I'm going to tell you nothing. They basically tried to get him back out on bail, and it didn't work. And his whole family came to like make him look like this poor, sad victim, and none of it worked. Wow. Okay. So So Marissa and Ramses. Now, this man has the audacity to. There's so much wrong. Look, I'm trying very hard to not take this stuff like to heart too much, but I feel like I'm so inundated by all this negative political shit everywhere we look, right? Every podcast, everywhere we look, it's like, it's all about voting, elections. This was filmed so long ago. There was absolutely no reason. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever for that this to be shared on the show. Like, it just didn't make any sense to me. It didn't make any sense why they had to talk about politics multiple times on the show. Now, maybe Marissa and Ramses are just those kinds of people. That's all they talked about. I don't know. There was a lot of conversation about military. There was a lot of conversation about anti-military. And then he really kicked us in the nuts with saying that he believes and is a true lover of Palestine. Okay, awesome, cool. Thanks a lot, Love is Blind. Appreciate it. As a Jewish person watching your show, I don't want to see that. I'm Valerie cherishing this one. I don't want to see it. Keep that shit to yourself. So now I know where the Love is Blind producers stand. The fact is that this couple is intolerable. I couldn't stand her anyway with her annoying high voice about everything. I'm sorry, I can't stand her. And then when she's talking about how she wants to get married, but all she knows is she doesn't want a man to marry her. She doesn't want a cis hetero man to marry them. I'm sorry, what? So not cis hetero man. Cool. Cool. Andy says, I talk about politics all the time. So if you were to film me, it would definitely come out. Yes, politics should be talked about in relationships, but this is a reality show that we really don't ever get political conversations on. We did get like conversations about sex and birth control. Like, those conversations are important, but I don't know. I just feel like it's so heated right now. It shouldn't have been on. It really turned me off, and it made me say like, oh, so now we have like, for that to go through editing. And then all the executives that watch it and say, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. Not to think that you have so much audience that this is such a hot button topic. This is such a controversial topic. Why? Why are we talking about Trump in the pods? Why do we have to see that? It really upset me. Why are we talking about Palestine? I am for the people. Palestine. I don't believe in bullying countries. That's why I like Palestine. What? Like, no. I was so angry. And because of that, he got karma served by Marissa's mother, because Marissa's mother is honestly one of the most unhinged, crazy people I've ever seen on this show. It was the most insane scene ever. I made Lance watch it. I literally said, Lance, you have to watch this scene. She came in guns a-blazing. She hardly had a smile that she was able to. She was not fake. She couldn't smile. She looked like she had a rough life. Okay? She may be still having a rough life. It was crazy. And so she's all of a sudden talking, she's got her 4 kids there who all seem very fine and normal and sweet. And Marissa's her oldest. And she's not having it. She's like, I don't believe in forever. I don't believe marriage is forever. I just want to know, are you going to have a fucking prenup? I've never seen anything like it. Ramses is like, yeah, okay, I don't care about money. I don't want to even be a millionaire. Millionaires hoard money. Billionaires hoard money. They're horrible for society. I'm like, oh my God. Like, literally, this is when I'm like, I can't. I'm out. I'm sorry, but Andy said it correctly 100%. Ramses is like so many college students these days, acting like they are the peacekeepers and they're supporting terrorists. Like, this is wild to me. Wild. It's crazy. I just was not into it. I just couldn't do it. And so that whole scene was the craziest scene I have ever seen. The scene was the craziest scene I've ever seen, but I loved it because I was like, I can't stand Ramses and Marissa. And the truth is, they're probably never going to end up together because at the end of the day, they get in a huge fight because she doesn't want to go on birth control. And he's like, well, I don't want to have sex without condoms. And I said, this is where you draw the line. This is where we're drawing the line. Michelle says, regardless of Ramses, her mother is beyond abusive and has projected all her unhappiness in relationships onto her daughter. She's a monster. No, it was wild to see. It's actually like kind of crazy and sad to watch. And even Marissa is like, Mom, you need therapy. She's like, that woman should not be on TV. She should not be on TV whatsoever. It was bad, real bad. So, okay. So then the final couple, Stephen and Monica, who I thought actually had a fighting chance. Monica chose Stephen. He's an electrician. He's the one that she's like, normally I care where they go to school. I care about, this, I care about that. And, but I really like Stephen. So I don't care that he doesn't have a job. I don't care. But they had a conversation, many conversations about flowers, lots of conversations about flowers. This woman says she doesn't care. She wants a lot of things from Stephen. She wanted flowers. She wanted flowers. She wanted flowers. Then she says, and she also likes gifts. She made it very clear. Like Monica took a class that said, don't expect men to know what you want. You have to tell them. So she's like, I am telling him, I want flowers. I want gifts. Like she got it tattooed on her face. I want things. And he goes, okay, so like once in a while, I'll get you like a Kate Spade bag. And she goes, you're not getting me that. And the whole world collectively went, when he said, okay, fine. Once in a while, I can get you a Kate Spade bag. Like that made me fall over because no offense, Kate Spade. I love a Kate Spade bag, but that is not a luxury bag. That's like a high schooler's first cute, nice bag if you get like a fancy bag. At least in Beverly Hills where I went to school. I don't think Kate Spade is in any capacity in Monica's brain a fancy bag. Now, you're talking to me. I don't own one label brand purse. Not one. So I'm not someone that needs gifts. But that was pretty crazy. Now, what was really crazy is that she was willing to forgive every single like thing that he didn't have for her. He's an electrician and he didn't have a job. He was talking about all these like really weird things when he was in Mexico. He was like, yeah, when we're going to be home and like on Instagram, like there's going to be so many girls that are going to want to suck our dick. Like he was so inappropriate. He just did not meet her in her level of maturity and just like class. Like he just felt I felt like she had like more of a career and he felt more just like, yeah, man, just like going to my day job with like my lunchbox. Like it just didn't feel like they connected in any capacity. They got to their nice apartment and he was like, whoa, this is like what you see on Instagram. Whoa. Like she was like, okay. It would have never worked anyway. But they started talking about sex and kinky shit. And apparently this guy's really into kinky shit. He likes things in the butt. They talked all about it. She said, I will give you my butt when we are married. Well, meanwhile, the guy, I guess, snores, and she sends him to go do a sleep test. And 2 weeks before their wedding, he goes and does a sleep test. And somehow she gets a hold of his text messages. Don't know how. And on those text messages, it says, he is flirting. And I mean, show us the text. Like, I want to see what he's saying and who this girl is. He is flirting sexually, sending all kinds of crazy sexual, like, kinks, etc., to this woman, to this other woman. She goes, were you even at a sleep test last night? And he does this. Where's Craig Conover? He goes like this. Yeah. I've never seen anything like it. I was like, oh, Ding, ding, ding. He's lying. It was the craziest thing. He goes, listen, I was drunk last night. He wasn't at a sleep test. He was out at a bar with his boys, drunk, and trying to hook up with this chick. He wasn't at a sleep test. He was never planning on getting married. This guy was free riding this little experience. He was living in this apartment. He was hoping to get a lot of followers on Instagram. He was maybe hoping that Monica broke up with him at the altar and then he could play this like poor guy and he would get his dick sucked from girls on Instagram. Honestly, he never went on a sleep test because Lance has done a sleep test and you cannot be drunk. In fact, it's very important that you're not. I think it's like one of the most important things that you have nothing in your system. You can't take sleeping pills, you can't be in anything. Obviously, you're not drunk. And they would know. It was so crazy. It was crazy. Like there was a sex situation. He talked about sex a lot. He was like, the wind blows and guys just like want to have sex. Like he was obsessed with it. Yes, he talked about pegging. Like he was completely trying to hook up with another chick. I definitely don't think he was taking that marriage seriously in any way. It felt very obvious to me. But poor Monica got her heart broken, but it just made me fall more in love with Garrett and Taylor because they were the ones that came to her rescue and hugged her when she was feeling down. So at the end of the day, this is the worst season of Love is Blind to date. It's the worst season I've ever seen. I am so upset. I'm so disappointed. I am especially personally disappointed about the Ramses Marissa couple and that topic. But everyone is so horrible. If they don't come back with a killer season, maybe it's DC. Maybe they're just bad choices in DC. But it was bad. So hopefully we'll see. I don't know. I'm not happy about it. You guys, that was a real hard journey to get through those last 90 minutes. 90 minutes. It was a lot. I hope you guys understand that I tried my hardest to stay focused. I still don't see Billy on the live chat, which is stressing the F out of me. So I'm going to go see if I can find her. Let's talk tomorrow. Let's all cross our fingers that all our dosers are safe. I love you guys. Thank you for sticking with me. I'm going to probably try to do some editing if I can. Talk to you later. Bye.